Caitlin and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything that I read in March and everything that I am hoping to read in April. Before I dive into that though, I kind of wanted to address the elephant in the room. Last week, I did not post a video and I actually posted a little community note on my channel a couple of days, actually several days before a video would have even gone up, saying that I wouldn't, and that was because a family member of mine, my grandmother, passed away last week. And at the time of making that post, letting you guys know that I wouldn't be putting out a YouTube video for that week, she was still with us, and we had a pretty good feeling that she probably wouldn't be for much longer, but she actually passed about, I want to say 24 hours after I made that post. And obviously I'm still grieving and mourning this loss because my grandmother was someone that I was very close with, but I am very relieved and almost felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders when I allowed myself to take a step back from putting out content, making short form videos or long form videos like this. It was just much easier to process things when I wasn't also trying to uphold a certain persona online. So I just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to take that time off and for giving me the grace to take a step back and take the time that I needed. I am going to, I think, be back for now. I will say I'm not sure how consistent my short form content is going to continue to be. For a while there, I was posting short form every single day, which after a while honestly did start getting a little draining creativity-wise, but I do still want to put out that kind of content, just maybe not every single day. I'm not sure. I haven't really made a decision yet. But yeah, I think that's all that I really have in the update department. And I think that I will spend a little time in next week's video talking about this in a little more detail. But for now, let's get started on talking about books. Now, as you may or may not know, if you've been watching my other reading recaps for this year, I have been in a bit of a reading slump. And every once in a while, I will read a book that makes me think, oh, this surely got me out of my reading slump. Like, this was such a good book. I had such a good time. Surely this is the end of it. And then I'll get started on the next book and I will take 2 weeks, if not more, to read it. And unfortunately, that is still going on. So I only actually finished one book this March, and it was Unravel Me by Catherine Bittner. I ended up giving this book 3.75 stars on Fable. I actually bought this book directly from the author at a book fair and was able to get it signed, which is so fun and so cool. And honestly, I did have a good time reading this book, but I did also have a couple of like smaller constructive criticisms, if you will. First of all, I loved the vibes of this book. I am a huge sucker for the trope of like a spoiled / rich girl like transitioning into small town life. I think that is such a fun and interesting storyline, especially when you do it well. Also, I have to make it public knowledge that when I was reading this book, when I was reading from the male main character's perspective, his name is Rhett, I was kind of envisioning / hearing Pedro Pascal's Joel Miller from The Last of Us voice. And I don't really know why, other than the fact that I love Pedro Pascal and his portrayal? Not betrayal, it's portrayal, yeah, of Joel Miller in The Last of Us. I think that that voice just really fits this main male character for some reason. So That was fun. My last thing that I want to say about this book is kind of a spoiler. And by kind of a spoiler, I mean actually like really a spoiler. So if you are interested in reading this book, make sure to skip the next, like, I'd say minute or so. Let's just go with that. I am a huge hater of the third act breakup because 90% of the time, actually, no, let's be realistic, 95% of the time, it is completely unfounded and a simple miscommunication and super stupid, and like the breakup itself is over like the most minute thing in the entire world. And that's exactly what happened with this book. I was specifically irritated with this third act breakup because the man, Rhett, wouldn't listen to Audrey, her explanation as to why this like secret was even a thing. And I think that if he had just listened to her, they totally could have stayed together, quite frankly. And I I'm act like it makes me like mad thinking about it. Like it's not even funny. And the whole thing was that she was originally going to move out of town to take this job because her life had been falling apart, but then she met him, and then she decided that she didn't want the job because she wanted to stay with him. And he was mad that she didn't tell him about the job opportunity and that she was originally going to move away, but now she's not. And I don't know about you guys, but if I was in a relationship with someone, calling them my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, and found out that that person refused a job offer so that they could stay with me, especially if it's a job that they don't actually like, which is the case in this book, I would kind of see that more as a sign of commitment than a sign of the person not loving me. But that's not how Rhett saw it, unfortunately. And in total honesty, I was ready to rate this book much, much higher until the third act breakup. Like really, it completely ruined the book for me. Not completely, because I did still enjoy it, but like, I would have enjoyed it so much more if that didn't happen. And like I said, this is the only book that I have actually finished in March. So now I'm going to kind of go over some of the books that I am currently reading. The main book that I am currently reading is A Dance of Lies by Brittany Arena. Brittany is also a local author, and I got this book assigned from her as well. According to Fable, I am 65% into this book, and I'm honestly having a really good time. If it wasn't for the fact that I have a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now, and I'm kind of almost always busy with work, I totally would have finished this in like under a week. And the second book that I am currently reading and have been currently reading since literally the beginning of this year is none other than The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I have been meaning to read this book for a while, since like the middle of 2025, and I never got around to it. And I finally convinced myself that I can just crack open it and like get started, and I don't necessarily need to like read it all in one sitting or like even read it all in 1 month. But I have been dragging it on, honestly, a little longer than I have liked, and I'm actually going on a road trip soon, so I'm hoping that I will be able to get through quite a bit of this then. And I actually don't remember if I said it at the beginning, but I am still at 20%. And now I will be moving on to the books that I am hoping to read in April. Now, if you're thinking even remotely like my brain is thinking right now, you might think, why are you actually even making a TBR if every single time you've made a TBR for this year, you've barely read 2 books from it? And to that I say, that's mean. And correct, but mean. But like I said earlier when I was talking about the Let Them theory, I am going to be going on a trip soon, and I'm hoping that I will be able to get quite a bit of reading done then, if not on the actual trip, at least while I'm traveling. So I am going to go ahead and give myself a little list, and obviously I don't actually have to stick with it. I could read other stuff. I could read just 1 book for the entire month, and that would be totally okay. But I like to create a TBR because I think it's a fun little way to get inspired on which books I want to pick up. So without further ado, the first book on my TBR is actually one that was on last month's TBR as well, but I just never got around to, and that is Passion Project by London Sperry. Like I said, this was on my March TBR, but I just didn't pick it up. But I'm so obsessed with this cover. I think it's so cute. I love how colorful it is. I think it's very cute. I just want to read this book. So I'm going to take it with me on my trip for sure. Next is The Fourth Fury by, walk with me here, S. Bashanti? This is the author's name right at the bottom. I probably completely butchered that and I am very, very sorry. As you can see, this is a much shorter book, like much shorter. So this is on my TBR, one, because I've been meaning to read it since it was gifted to me in December, but also because I think having a shorter option might like make me reach for my book more. Next up, we have Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This book was actually gifted to me by the grandma that passed away last week. While I was creating a list of books that I was wanting to read, I stumbled across this one and thought that it would be a fun way to kind of connect with her again, I guess. But also I have been meaning to get into this book because I love a good mystery and it has been a while since I've actually gotten into one. So here's to hoping that I actually enjoy it. Next up is Savor It by Tara DeWitt. I've actually had this book just sitting on my shelves, actually not even my shelves, sitting on my floor for probably months now, and I almost forgot that the stack of books was even there until I randomly bumped into it this morning and was like, oh my gosh, books. I completely forgot that all of these books like are even ones that I owned. And I wanted to make sure that I had a couple of solid romance choices for this month's TBR, and I mean, look at how cute they are on this cover. I'm very excited to get into this one. And last, but most certainly not least on this TBR is none other than A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have somehow been on Book Talk for at least 3 years now, at least, and have not read this series yet. I actually don't think I've read a single book by Sarah J. Maas. And with the upcoming release of the 6th and 7th book in this series, I think I need to finally get on it. I've been wanting to get into this series ever since the announcement, but I've been holding off until it started to get warmer outside because I feel like I always see people reading this series like by the pool or at the beach or at the lake or just like when they're outside, and I wanted to experience that as well. So hoping to get into this book and finish the series before the 6th book comes out. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to read all of her series all the way through before 6 comes out, especially with the way that these past few months have been with me reading books, or rather not reading books, but a girl can dream. So that's what I'm gonna do. Dream. I also technically have A Court of Mist and Fury on this month's TBR, but considering how many books I already have on this month's TBR and how thick this one is compared to all the other books that I have on this list, I'm not gonna hold myself to it too much. But that is the end of my April TBR and therefore the end of this video. One more thing actually before I end this video, you might have noticed that I have some shelves on this wall now. They're new. I actually got them installed last week. My dad helped me out, which was great. And I am really excited to finally decorate them. I've been putting it off because I'm thinking that I kind of want to make a whole video out of it. So if decorating my bookshelves / reorganizing my bookshelves or this video is something that you enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!